Hey everybody, today I'm going to be talking about email marketing and whether you should be doing it if your audience is software developers. In short, my answer is yes. I've kept up a personal email newsletter for years. The audience is mostly software engineers. And I'll tell you that while there's certainly some subset of software developers out there who get annoyed by emails, it works for a lot of people. So having a good email newsletter is maybe a little bit tricky when your audience is software developers, but at the same time, I think email marketing is a really great asset. It's a really great channel for most companies that are trying to get to a technical audience. So why email marketing? First, you own the channel, and this is completely different from how marketing works on social media. Twitter and Facebook have been doing a ton of changes to their algorithms over the last few years that make it a little bit harder for brands and accounts that aren't as engaged in the ways that they want them to be to reach their subscribers or their followers. So you can't rely on social media channels alone to help you get in front of people that you want to reach, even if they like your page, they follow you on Twitter or what have you. The same thing is going to be true of LinkedIn. So right now, LinkedIn might be the hot way to get in front of B2B contacts, but that doesn't mean it's going to be true forever. LinkedIn could crack down on this stuff and change the algorithm at any time, and you have no control. Email gives you really that control over your audience that you don't get on other platforms. Next, email is really flexible. In other words, you can send images, text, video, links, downloadables, almost anything you can imagine you can build into email to some extent. And so while social networks are great for certain kinds of mediums, they're not going to work for others. And email lets you have flexibility with how you send things to your audience. You can also, with email, find out what readers actually want to read more of or care about or are interested in. So you can track clicks and opens to different headlines and see what people actually care about in your audience. It's a great way to get some audience intel, basically learn more about your readers and your followers and see if they really are lining up with your customers or if they're kind of mismatched or they're sort of tangentially aligned to those customers. And you can decide how to best convert those people into people that will actually pay you for your product later. Finally, email marketing lets you build trust before you actually try to make the big ask. I think too many people in marketing and sales think that the very first thing that a blog post should do is drive people to convert on to their product, to buy their product. But that's rarely what's going to happen. Content marketing is a long game. And so what you want to do with content is push people into something relatively low friction that will help you build trust. And email lists are a great way to do that. So you can make your calls to action on your blog posts and your social media channels, sign up for our email newsletter to get special inside features or what have you, whatever it is that attracts people and gets people engaged on a regular basis. So if you're going to run an email list, if you buy my argument that it is a good channel for marketing to developers, there's a few tips that I'd like to share. One is be consistent. And this means you've got to write an email at least once a month, but probably once a week. And if you can't commit to that, then it's probably something that you'll either need to hire off to someone else or hold off on doing until you are ready to make that commitment. Next, don't think about it as just a one-way communication street. Think about it as email marketing as a way to highlight what your audience is doing, to build a two-way conversation. So in order to do that, show people what your current customers are building through your email newsletter. So maybe you highlight your existing customers, what they're building with your product. Maybe you highlight responses from people to your weekly email newsletter. You can ask people questions in your email newsletter. You can do all sorts of interesting, engaging things that aren't just, boom, here's an update from our latest product release. Next, make your primary call to action on blog posts and ideally your social media channels to sign up for your email list, because this is a great way to get people, build that trust and get people into your system in a low friction way. I think it's a great primary call to action on most things. Have a point of view when you're writing your emails. So just like blog posts, your emails are a great chance to show how you're different and not just to sort of echo the same marketing BS that a lot of companies do. So show some personality, make it interesting, make it unique, not just a bunch of self-promotional junk. This has got to be something engaging, something interesting. So I think email newsletters are best written by the people who care most about the product, whether that's the product people, the CEO, the founder, head of marketing, somebody who's really engaged with what the company is building and can really tell a unique perspective in the text that gets across to people. Surprise your readers sometimes. Send them contests, exclusive access to things that are early access to things. Send them fun stuff, links. It doesn't all have to be just kind of the same boring formula every week. You can make it interesting sometimes. Make it really clear how to unsubscribe to your emails. So you don't want to keep people on your list who aren't engaged. It's going to hurt your email open and deliverability rates in the long term. Actively remove those disengaged subscribers, in fact. And you can send out an email list to all people who haven't opened an email in like 6 months. Every few months you can say like, hey, you haven't opened an email in 6 months. I'm going to unsubscribe you unless you click this link. And then when they click that link, you keep them subscribed. Most email marketing tools will kind of let you set up segments so that you can do this sort of thing and make sure that people get off your list on a regular basis. I have just a few tools I'm going to introduce, and I wrote a longer blog post about this that I'm going to link in the comments below this. So if you want sort of a good starting point for what email tools are really good for smaller startups, early to mid-stage startups, then check out that list. But I'll just highlight a few of them here. First one is Mailchimp. This is a great all-purpose email tool. Good place to start. It can do most of the major features like automation, forms, tags, ways to segment your audience. You can build multiple audiences. There's a lot of other things in there that I haven't even explored. So there's a lot of features, but at the same time, it's relatively cheap to get started. I think there's still a free plan in Mailchimp if you're below a certain subscriber threshold. So if you're just starting out, this might be a good place to go. Autopilot is really cool for designing customer journeys and really complex automations. It allows you to visualize how users will flow through signing up for your lead magnet, then your email list, and then maybe getting into your trial of a product. And it's really cool, but it's also pretty advanced and a little more expensive than some of the other tools. Litmus is great if you want to preview your email in different browsers and inboxes. So unfortunately, email has not been standardized across the different browsers that are out there. That means Gmail in Chrome is going to look different from Outlook on Windows in Edge or what have you. So there's just tons of variables in how email actually gets delivered and shown to people. Litmus will help you test that. SendGrid is great if you want to programmatically send your emails. So in other words, you want your app to trigger emails when certain things happen. This is a great way to build automations that allow you to reach users at just the right moment. So in other words, maybe 3 days after someone orders something, you want to send a follow-up email asking them how it went. SendGrid would be a great way to build this kind of really complex custom logic if you need it to be integrated into your application. And then finally, Revue is good if you want to send link-based newsletters. These are getting really popular these days, and I think they're a great place for a lot of companies to start. My email newsletter is primarily like a link sharing newsletter, but then I kind of write a bit of sort of unique thoughts at the top just to give people something interesting to read every week. And so Revue is a great tool for this because it's really simple to get started on. A good place if you're just kind of not even sure and you don't want to worry about building your own unique templates for emails. Very good, easy entry-level thing, but you may have to graduate onto another platform at some point. So like I said, there's a whole blog post with a bunch more email tools, some tips for startups that are getting started with email marketing to developers. If you have other questions, feel free to email me anytime. It's Carl@Draft.dev, or you can go to Draft.dev and learn more about our business and what we do. Thanks so much.